Welcome to week 14. We are beginning with chapter 9. But before we do, let's talk about last week and motivation and learning. Wasn't that a great week? Didn't we have a good time with our chapter on motivation, learning about Hello everyone. Before we move to week 14 and chapter 9, let's say thank you, Devin, Stephanie, Christy, Steve, and Rachel for chapter 8's motivation and learning. Wasn't that great? Didn't we have a good time talking about McCluskey's theory of power, load, power, and margin, and checking in with where we are with our shelter in place and the various kinds of stresses and strains that we're experiencing as we stay at home, take care of our families, take care of our coworkers, continue to do all that we can do, and stay on top of our own personal balance. I really want to commend all of you for the tremendous job that you are doing. And as we move into chapter 9, the brain and cognitive function, you're going to learn a lot more about how you are doing and what the things are in your learning that are helping you with maintaining that balance. So Tanya, Alan, Candace, Julie, and Jenna are bringing us the brain and cognitive function. And as you see, there are two ways to see their presentation. You can click on it and see an interactive way, or you can just look at the slides if that's better for you. First read chapter 9, then take a look at the presentation for the brain and cognitive function, and then take a look at the TED Talk that is My Stroke of Insight by Jill Bolt Taylor. I think that you will find it quite insightful as you find how she was able to actually recover from her own stroke. Our assignment this week, there is a 7-question quiz that is just for learning the brain and cognitive function. You will get no points for it. This is just for you to see how well you have learned this chapter, and it will help you with the quiz that we actually will be taking for points. That is over chapters 7, 8, and 9, and they are on our Moodle page. So please do complete that quiz for this week. Then our Chapter 9 synthesis presentation team also has some fun things to look at. Brain dominance and intelligence, a number of different assessments here. And they've got a Wordle. If you click on this link and then write one word that you would use to describe intelligence. And the Team 9 will take all of your words and make a Wordle out of it and post it for later on this week. And they've got a fun article for you to review. And again, a reminder, do take the chapter quiz. It is over chapters 7, 8, and 9. And it's open now, and you will be able to have all the way through next Sunday to take that quiz. Then continue working on, for those people who have yet to present, I really would like for you to go 2 weeks ahead. So we're in chapter 9 right now, this week. Chapter 10 is open. I would like to have chapters 11, and if you even want to give me 12, I'll open those up too. And so we can review them and have them. Chapters 10, 11, and 12, you can, at any time give me those chapters and I'll put them out there and we can open them up. So week 15 next week, the individual project will be due. This is week 14 when it originally was due. Week 15, and so at the end of week 15, April 26th, is the date that the individual project is due. And if you haven't already noticed that there is a new option with the shelter-in-place option, take a look at that. If any of you have questions, and several of you have sent me an email to ask if one thing or another would work, so far I've said yes to all of them. So do take me up on it. Chapter 17, which is our last week, not chapter 17, week 17, which is our last week. We will have our final quiz over chapters 10, 11, and 12. So this week we're studying chapter 9. So next week we'll have 10, then 11, and then 12. We've got 4 more weeks, counting this one. And so we've got, they'll be wild and woolly. We've got lots to do. Week 17 is also our reflective paper. So take a look at the rubric on the reflective paper. By the way, look closely at the rubric for the individual project. I want you to all notice on the rubric that it's going to ask you to connect the literature, our textbook, so do that. Take a look at what principles or theories might connect with whatever it is that you are doing for your individual project. That's something that I'm looking for in the rubric. It's beyond the rubric. Both the rubric and the instructions are what I want you to pay attention to. So the rubric is also going to ask you to question your assumptions. I may have thought this going in, but after learning X or Y, I now think this, or I continue to think it, but now I have an enriched view. I also want you to talk about pros and cons. For example, you might say, if you were interviewing an adult educator, the adult educator might say that that it's very important to teach the content or cover the content, and you might think, well, is it really? Or is it more important for the learner to gain what he or she's interested in the book or the content of the class, as opposed to getting through all of the chapters and making sure that all of the various things are checked off? What's more important, learning or checking it off? So you might then have pros and cons that you want to talk about with respect to what your adult educator said. You might have a different view. So take a look at the rubric. Then let's go into the forums, and our Chapter 9 synthesis team has questions for you to post thoughts this week in your forum about brain dominance, and so what you did with those assessments. So up here we have a number of different brain dominance and intelligence online assessments. Do those and then complete the 4 questions and these same questions are posted in our forum. Okay, let's get started. Week 14.